these, I know you're asking or wondering what are.
Microfiber.
Well, this is quite good for helping the fat. So I'll show you if you're struggling with hitting heavy shots.
Oh, right.
That's my theme at the moment.
My gathering is you've got to avoid the microfiber.
Yeah, you put it down. But this type of material sticks nicely to an indoor mat.
Does it? Oh, okay.
Whereas a towel is too thick. Because remember, it does come in very shallow, the iron head, unless you're hitting a 8-9 wedge. It comes in shallow even when you're trying to be steep. So a regular towel's too thick. And this, again, DIY shop purchase. Sanding block.
Yeah.
If I can get it unstuck from the tap. They're ideal for just propping to get your path right, either side of the board.
Okay, yeah, so using a head
if you hit that, you're not doing any damage.
Yeah.
Sometimes people put a water bottle to give you an idea of outside and inside and stopping over the top. So if we've got time, we'll have a play with that.
Yeah, sometimes use the head cover on the driving range.
Yeah, head cover on the range, that's it.
Put it to the...
Just saves you hitting the head cover and launching it 30 yards down the range. And going, stop, I need to go and get my head cover. I came over the top.
also like an anti-shank drill as well.
Yeah, you got
use that for that as well.
That's it.
All little things.
But they're right, you're right using those, but you've got to know what to think of in the swing as your primary swing thought to better fix it. Yeah,
I hit one proper fat one today, but it was I was practicing, so I had the main shot, and then I had another shot to see, if I tried that again, and I always felt that if I spent a couple more seconds thinking about my shot first time round, I'd get a better result, because my second shot was always slightly better.
So do you feel as if routine's a big part of it then?
100%, yeah, because I mean I get the whole, stand behind the ball, pick a spot in front of the ball, aim your club face there, then set up around that's all quite logical really. But I think it's just once you've got your right position or you're aiming in the right place, then is the ball in the right place and your stance, and there's another phase to it, and then phase 3 is actually hitting it and it going in the right place. So today was all right. There was just one or two where I hit it fat, but it was mainly short. It wasn't long irons. My long irons were good. It was the short irons around the green.
Yeah, we're coming into the time of year, Tanky, where it's very wet underfoot. It's very easy to catch it a bit heavy, where you'd get away with it on drier conditions, and it would still be classed as a good strike in drier conditions.
Yeah.
It's very unforgiving now. No growth, so it's not sat on a tuft. It's not sat on a bed of a nice cushion of grass.
No.
The summer fairway is. So it's hard. So a fat is quite common in winter, and you're not going to get a very good tour player practice in this country.
So what you're saying is you shouldn't really punish yourself.
Don't be hard on yourself.
Your head if you
no, there's fat and there's fat.
Oh no, mine was fat, not fat.
Yeah, so a little bit heavy, and the odd one here and there, if you're striking it quite well, you don't even look at. If there's 2 or 3 in a row, it's like, hang on a minute, this is fat, this is an inch fat.
Yeah.
And if you've had back to back to back, that's when it's like, hang on a minute, I need to look at ball position. I need to look at ball position. I need to find out why I'm hitting it fat if the ball position's good. But going back to the pre-shot routine, if you're doing the right thing in picking a spot and lining it up, having got the yardage in the club, you don't really want to question ball position then so much. You should fall into that mindset from being on the range and the range mats and seeing that kind of symmetry for when you've practiced.
Yeah.
So the ball position should kind of be all right. It should really fall into the correct position based on the club you've chosen to hit. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You shouldn't really go, is this too far back? Is this too far forward?
Yeah.
You shouldn't really have that questioning of yourself.
The reason why I questioned it today was because I was on the third, and I was just off the green with the tee shot over the water, which I was happy with. A little bit short. Took a 52 out, and then tried to remember what my 25-yard shot is with a 52, but I had just slightly forward, so I thinned it a bit. It still ended up with a bogey, so I still wasn't too disappointed with. But what I want to try and do is get those kind of
eliminate those little errors.
Eliminate those little errors, because you know, when I did my second shot, you know, sometimes I think, well, I'll just play another one. There's no one behind, there's no one in front. I'm on my own, of course. It was nigh on perfect. It was, you know, it was a putt in. Would have been a putt in for par. So, as far as I'm concerned, I just think I need to spend maybe a little bit longer. Although people do criticise me for taking it, I do spend a bit of time over the ball. Not too long, but that's the joke with me. Is I spend a lot of time thinking about a shot. It's not overtly long, but compared to my playing partners, you know, I do take a bit longer.
Yeah, you are a little longer than some, but if you're too long, if there's a blank mind and stuff can creep in.
Yeah.
So once you're ready to go, pull the trigger, bang.
Yeah, which is where I want to be really, but I think it comes down to your character as well. I mean, I'm naturally a cautious kind of person, so I think probably a little bit more.
Yeah,
and not so
personality
kind of,
for sure.
Not so flippant with, you know, oh, I'm just going to hit it. I kind of like to be like that, but naturally I'm not like that. So that's where I think golf crosses over from your person, from what you do, how you are day in, day out.
Interesting point. I agree.
Of course. You know,
people walking very fast, people talking quickly will have a quicker swing. Someone laid back and a little dopey. Liam Litterick comes to mind. He's quite laid back, walks slowly. He's got quite a deliberate routine and a happy, you know, more of a slower tempo to his swing.
Yeah.
So you're right, yeah, that's a big factor. That's quite interesting.
Yeah.
But you don't want to be at a point where if anxiety creeps into your routine from being over cautious, you might fall a little bit of doubt. Am I aiming quite right, or should I be? It's like, here's the shot, there it is, couple of looks, bang. Interpreting that speed into your own personality, but don't leave any open doors or quiet time for stuff to creep in.
I think at our level, my level, not your level, my level, you know, if you're playing in a comp, you know, you just want to hit your best shot, and I never want to feel like I'm rushed to do so. But you know, I do fly around in between shots, as my playing partners will tell me.
Fly around in between shots.
I don't
run around.
I don't run. You know, I get to the ball quick enough, and then that's when I kind of, I think I can eliminate a few more. As soon as those thoughts go in, I tend to maybe over elaborate on the thought. I think grip first. I think I've changed my grip quite considerably, and this is the first season of golf where I've accepted it, and actually the ball flight is straighter compared to my old grip, and it looks more like a professional grip. But I still have that doubt when I do grip the club, whether it's too strong, too weak. It's much weaker than my original grip ever was. But then ultimately, I never hammer myself if I make a mistake. I don't dwell on it. I laugh about it and move on, because
that's the right
I'm
attitude.
not doing it every single shot. You know, if you're at that point and you just picked up golf, you are going to make a lot more mistakes, and gradually this gets spaced out. The longer it's spaced out, the better you get. So you know it's not going to always.
That's definitely the attitude. Back to the grip. You've got to have a reference point. The 2.5, 3 knuckles is fine on the left hand. So glance down, see that, boom, again, go.
Yeah.
It's that accurate it needs to be. You've tweaked it from being 3.5 to 4. When you're strong like that, you need super strong body rotation to compensate.
Yeah.
Strong grip, you need to turn really quick, because your hands will be holding off that face. If your body's turning slowly and you've got a strong grip, it's very easy for the hands to be overactive from that strong position. So you've neutralized the grip to be normal because you can get your body turning a little better to be normal. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You're never going to be super active and super quick. The guys on tour are, and they can go with a stronger grip than they used to 10, 15 years ago because everything's turning so fast. The body's hips are turning quicker in the golf swing than they ever used to. They used to be more lateral and a reverse C type end. When you look at Seve and Greg Norman and the guys in the 80s and the 70s and the 60s, they don't turn like they are now. They're not as angled as they are now. So keep the grip as you've got it. It looks great. A little glance, looks good, and then soon you won't need to. You can kind of take that out of the routine.
Yeah. And that will save a few seconds. A second off, or whatever.
So you don't need to overthink it.
I am conscious though that I am standing over the ball for maybe longer than the average guy.
I'd say you can cut a couple of seconds off.
Yeah. But I don't take as many shots, so that compensates. That's the way I see it. I just bought a load of those for my window cleaning.
Well, this is Hangland.
Yeah.
You shopping through.
It's good though. I went down there.
To see if we got time, I might make a quick 5-minute video on it. We'll go in there and play Pebble Beach, you reckon?
Yeah, I used
St Andrews.
I used to play that on the old Lynx
Tiger
Golf
Woods.
Simulator. Yeah, I had the Mac version, and it was.
Oh, was that when it was like a
13 floppy disks?
And it was a real picture of Tiger Woods, like a photo.
No, this was Lynx Golf, so it was I can't remember the name of the brand that made it, but it was an early Apple Macs. We're talking 1989 or 90.
Floppy disks.
Yeah, it was 13 floppy disks, and you to draw the screen line by line.
Oh.
And it was, so we take a shot, and then in those days it was labelled as photorealistic. and then I
and a little 4-pixel golf ball would bounce in.
Yeah, it was amazing. And then they had they did this. I then got a mass code processor to put in my Mac, which sped up the drawing because obviously it helps with FPUs, floating point units. And then the game became a bit more bearable. And then eventually it went on to CD and then DVD, and then I had enough space in my hard drive to put on there. But I had about 25, 30 courses. Harbour Town used to play a lot. I love Harbour Town.
Harbour Town, I remember that on the Mega Drive. When Peter Jacobson used to be the pro you'd have.
Oh right, I loved Harbour Town.
Like his thing, it was like ahead of its time.
Banff Springs was one of my favourite courses in Canada. That was beautiful. Banff Springs.
Spyglass.
Firestone, I think there was a
Firestone, yeah, that was
really good.
I used to play the hell out of Tiger Woods 2007.
Yeah, I never did it on the consoles. I only did it on the Apple Mac.
2002, 2003.
Obviously St Andrews.
PlayStation 2. Tell you that's playing golf video games, Tiger Woods series on PlayStation 3, PlayStation 2. When I was still playing around then, early 2000s, that did wonders for my rhythm and the blueprint philosophy. That's what helped me develop it. Because you're back on the joystick through the actual Tiger Woods image, your golfer on the screen. Didn't care about the woods and the water and the narrow fairways that you were setting up to. You're just backing through. So you kind of take that mindset too. You can't control where it goes. You just control the process you put on it.
What I find like now when you watch, if you go on YouTube or Instagram, whatever, you're watching, you see these really good, perfect swings. But the reality of all that is that if you're an average golfer, you're not going to have that time to perfect all that. You want to be able to know enough to be able to play, like once a week, which is what I do, maybe twice a week if I'm lucky.
Exactly.
And then make a good account of yourself on the course. So that's why, personally,
it's relative and not realistic, isn't it? Being realistic.
Yeah, if I was training 6 hours a day, it'd be different. I'll have different expectations. I'll have much different expectations.
It's like exactly that. I think that's hugely important, and it's something that's very underestimated or not considered among many pros and people working on their games. You've got to understand, what can you change? Are you capable of changing it? Are your limitations, injuries, stiffness allowing you to make those changes? Do you love practicing enough to make that change happen while hitting balls, or are you going to have to do drills indoors in between your meetings?
Yeah.
Because you can do either. There's no point practicing a lot if you feel, or trying to practice and make time if you feel like, you know what, I really don't like hitting balls, but I like playing.
It's the quality of practice though is more important.
Yeah,
isn't it?
that too.
If you don't,
it's not how many balls, it's how
just
many
whack
balls
up,
that you hit with the right mindset.
I'm guilty of doing both. Sometimes I'll just hit a load of balls, and then other times I'll go up with one club and go, right, I'm going to practice this shot.
Yeah.
And invariably I think, oh, I might hit a few blow. But, like I said, I've got...
Like you said, it's being realistic to your time frame you have allocated to it, the level of golfer you are and could get to, and, physical limitations. Like you said, tall players, people forget they're doing it 8 hours a day.
Yeah. I mean,
they're athletes, they're flexible, they're young, they've got training going on in the gym, and they've got training going on mentally, chiropractors left, right and centre, all sorts of things.
I do my job 8.5 hours a day.
Yeah,
and I'm good at that.
You've got to be able to, yeah, and that's right, you've got to be able to switch off from that when you go golfing.
Okay.
A lot of people don't switch off. Right, we're here.